What do you think the Cowboys are going to do? You probably would have said maybe make a change because Bill Belichick's out there or Mike Vrabel's out there. Or do you promote from within with their defensive coordinator, Dan Quinn? Well, they're bringing back Mike McCarthy. And Jerry Jones, in some ways, is patient. In other areas, he's not patient. But when it comes to his coaches, he is patient, maybe to a fault. So multiple seasons of playoff heartbreak under Mike McCarthy. And he's coming back. Now, he's going to be a lame duck coach unless Jerry Jones extends his contract. But we've been down this road before. Jones played a similar game twice before. In 2014, he forced Jason Garrett to coach the final year of his contract without an extension. Well, Dallas won the East, eventually lost in the divisional round. Jason Garrett was rewarded with a 5-year extension. 2019, Garrett and the Cowboys faced a similar dilemma. This time the team failed to make the playoffs, and then Garrett was fired. I don't know what Jerry is going to do as far as Mike McCarthy's future here, but if it's Super Bowl or bust for the Cowboys, and you could have upgraded with Bill Belichick, I don't even know if he made a call. Maybe this was just kind of a mere formality. Hey, no, we aren't bringing him back. He's loyal. He is loyal, and a lot of owners aren't. You can go to Carolina and you don't have a loyal owner there, or when Daniel Snyder was with Washington. But loyal maybe to a fault, but Mike McCarthy is coming back, and that's the big news when it comes to the Cowboys. Also, I was looking at the last 10 years, so since 2014, Mike Tomlin's coming back. Which fan base feels better? The Steelers that Mike Tomlin is coming back, or the Cowboys that Mike McCarthy is coming back? I'm going to guess the Steelers feel better, even though the Cowboys are a better team. Since 2014, looking at the Steelers, they have 2 seasons where they won 12 games, 7 playoff appearances, 0 Super Bowls. Overall record, they won 63% of their games. Postseason, they're 3-7. So that's 2-4 in the wild card, 1-2 in the divisional round, and 0-1 in a conference championship. The Cowboys, over the same time frame, 5 seasons of at least 12 wins, 6 playoff appearances, 0 Super Bowls. They win an average of just over 60% of the time. Postseason record, 3-6, 3-2 in the wild card, 0-4 in the divisional round. But it feels like the Steelers happier to have Mike Tomlin back than maybe the Cowboys are with Mike McCarthy. Welcome to the program, already underway, 877-3DP Show. Email address dp@danpatrick.com. Twitter handle at DP Show. Albert Breer, Monday Morning Quarterback. We'll have more on this. Also, Peter King will stop by as well. No word on the Eagles with Nick Sirianni. Feels like that the further along we get in the week, the more likely it is Nick Sirianni will keep his job. Diana Rossini done a great job reporting on this. And she said that the coach and the owner, Jeffrey Lurie, have not met, but they are talking about Nick Sirianni and the ownership looking for coordinators to help Nick Sirianni. That would lead me to believe Philadelphia is not going to make a move. Then it starts to tighten the window a little bit on the possibilities of where Mike Vrabel, maybe even Pete Carroll, certainly Bill Belichick, Jim Harbaugh. You know, it's the musical chairs. Now, the music's still going. There's still seats to sit, but it's starting to, as soon as somebody hires somebody here, Raiders with Antonio Pierce, maybe something happens with Atlanta, then it starts to get even more interesting here. All right, Seton, what's the poll question today? By the way, we say good morning. You're watching on Peacock and our radio affiliates around the country.
We've got a few options on poll questions that are essentially the same, but slightly tweaked.
Okay.
Jerry Jones keeping Mike McCarthy for another season is a smart move or dumb?
Well, I understand it. But just because Mike McCarthy and you get 12 wins, that's never, really been the criticism here. It's we get to the postseason. Is Mike McCarthy able to get you further in the postseason? Is my coach an advantage when we get to the postseason? And I don't think he has been. Because if coaches want to fall on the sword and say, I didn't have my team prepared. I mean, you truly did not have your team prepared for the Green Bay Packers. I'm going to start with the coach. But, Dak didn't play well. Defense didn't play well. And that's a one-off where the Eagles were not good for the last 2 months of the season. That, to me, feels a little more systemic of a coach issue there. But with Mike McCarthy, he is a very good coach. But it's nice to have a regular season coach who people think highly of. I need you to think highly of my coach when it comes to the postseason. I'd like to know if we have an advantage there. When the Patriots would play in the postseason, you'd always say, well, you got Brady and you got Belichick. And that was usually enough to beat just about every team. You had an advantage going into the game. Dallas doesn't. Your Cowboy quarterback, is he always going to be better than the quarterback he's facing? And Dak did have a good year, but they got a decision to make on Dak. You're going to pay him? You got 1 year left, so you're going to have a lame duck quarterback, lame duck coach? That makes me nervous. And if you're all in on Mike McCarthy, then maybe you extend him. Yeah, Seton.
Yeah, I wonder how much player contracts plays into the decision to keep Mike McCarthy. We can keep coach for another year, then maybe Dak is up in a year, CD's coming up. Maybe if we're going to start fresh with a new coach, let's just start fresh with a new everybody.
And I do think that transition is difficult, that if you bring in Belichick, he's got to bring in his staff. And then he's a defensive-minded coach. Are you losing Dan Quinn as your defensive coordinator? You don't want Bill running the offense, although he does get an upgrade at quarterback over Mac Jones. But, when it comes to coaching, and we've said that about the Cowboys, Mike McCarthy is not a good manager of the clock. And when it comes to the postseason, we've seen that right in front of us. Now, the clock wasn't an issue when they faced the Packers. If you're a Cowboy fan, you probably wish that it was a factor because then you would have been in the game. That was never a factor. Now, you start to look around and go, okay, Philadelphia not as formidable. The Niners window, to me, is going to close a little bit sooner than people think. Because, George Kittle, you have some positions there. Your left tackle, Christian McCaffrey contract, Brandon Ayuk is going to want a contract. So it feels like that's a little bit more of a fluid situation of just how long this window of opportunity is for the Niners. But somebody else is going to get better sooner than you think. The Lions are here. So if you're Dallas, you're like, all right, 12 wins. We're still going to be a formidable team. Green Bay, a lot better than what we think. So if I'm looking at this and I want stability, but it still comes down to the playoffs. And I said that during the year. I don't care what Dallas does. They could go undefeated during the regular season. I don't care. The teams that even squeak in are more formidable. Green Bay, you sneak in, slip in. Now you're dangerous here. Dallas didn't feel dangerous. Tampa, they sneak in. They felt more dangerous. Dallas, it feels like, hey, we're the Cowboys. Yeah, you are the Cowboys, the current Cowboys, not the ones of 30 years ago. And I think there's a big difference there. The sense of entitlement, we're the Cowboys, we're celebrities, we're bigger than any other franchise in sports. And look at the place we play. We got everything, and then you have nothing. But Mike McCarthy, I understand Jerry being loyal to, he was too loyal with Jason Garrett. But also, you have to factor in, and this is probably way too deep. This is where a therapist might say, man, you're screwed up if I told him this. Let's say Belichick went to Dallas. Let's say he broke the all-time record there. Let's say he led them to the Super Bowl. Is there any part of this that Jerry Jones would go, yeah, but what about me? Like, this is all going to be about Belichick. As crazy as that may sound, that, yeah, I want to win a Super Bowl, but I want to be the biggest reason why we win. Like, people talk about me, Jerry Jones, winning the Super Bowl. And maybe that's, Freudian stuff there. But I don't want to. The reason why I had to break up with Jimmy Johnson in a fractured relationship and friendship for 30 years was sharing credit. And I thought, okay, does Belichick want to go into that situation? And I really wondered if he did. But he does want to win a Super Bowl. He wants to prove he can win a Super Bowl without. And let's say he did that. If Belichick goes into Dallas wins the Super Bowl, and is the all-time victory leader in NFL history. Now he just trumped Tom Brady. Now he just one-upped him. Yeah, Brady won with the Bucs. Yeah, but Bill won with the Cowboys. He's the all-time victory leader. And I just wonder, Jerry Jones, with ego playing a role in this, and I think Jerry still wants to be the guy. And Mike McCarthy allows him to be the guy.